Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors, a testing your gear rendition. Now, if you've been with us over these past few weekends, I started a thing or a series called How Not to Survive. Some people understand what I'm trying to do, some people don't. So for those of you who don't, this is not for people who are outdoorsmen and wilderness folks. Most of the folks who get lost on the trail or who get in bad situations are not prepared. They're not experienced. They don't understand their gear. They're what they call weekend warriors. And I'll be honest with you, I'm probably one of them. I've told y'all from the beginning, we're not going to get on here and act like we know everything. There's no point. This is not for the experienced woodsman. What I want to do with this series is for those of us and those of you who go out on the weekends and have adventures and have journeys and have a good time, to show you some things that may help you out in that. That's the whole point. It's not to survive, okay? You need to practice your skills. You need to do all that. But this is to avoid that survival situation, right? For those of you who are experienced and well-versed in survival or outdoors or camping or bushcraft, feel free to leave comments. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I have the One Wind ultralight shelter. I did a video on it some time ago. Here's the thing, man. There's a lot of times people go and they buy all this gear. They're getting ready. They're geared up. Just because you have gear and you go in the woods, that's not a guarantee. What happens a lot of times, and these are things that I'm seeing over and over and over, people buy things to buy things. They buy things because they see a reviewer, they love it or whatever. They get it and they never use it until they need to use it, and then it's a cluster, right? So let's take a minute and set this up. I wanted to show you something. Now, my One Wind shelter, you can use, you can tie up, right? And I'm going to show you that style, or use with a post. I keep this in my bag. It's just a stake that I made from a piece of dunnage at work, or a little pine thing at work. I did that for a reason. It's twofold. One is I'll use it for a stake to stake my shelter down. The second is, if it's wet like it is today and I need to get a fire started, this is all pine, white pine, so it shaves easy, it dries out quick, and it burns hot. So it's kind of a dual thing. Let's get this thing going. The biggest thing, guys, that I want people to know in this is this. The worst time in the world to check out your gear is when you need it, right? I watched a video yesterday with the Fuel the Fire guys, Mike Simmons and JJ Morris, and they did a $50 thrift store challenge, and essentially they had $50 for the two of them. They had to, quote unquote, make do with what they could buy for 24 hours. And they were talking about testing your gear. I had this video in mind for some time, and I thought, well, if that's not a sign I need to do this, there's not going to be one. So the One Wind shelter is here. It's light. I have some tent pegs here. One thing that I'm adding to my pack is this. It is a drop cloth, a lightweight, come on, Scab, lightweight drop cloth. I think I bought it for $2 at the dollar store. It's 9 foot by 12 foot. It's 0.7 millimeters thick. The other thing with this is they're cheap as shit, but here's the thing. If you need a tarp, here you go. If you need to make a super shelter, which I will be doing in the next couple weeks, you can use this. So what I'm going to do with my painter's tarp is use that for flooring, just as protection from the wet ground. Now, it's been raining on and off all day, and what I wanted to do was come out here in the rain and test it out. And of course, by the time I get my stuff done and get out here, it stopped raining. If it rains, wonderful. Now, I had mentioned that some people use this as a poncho and some people disagreed with that. And that's, that's your prerogative. I can tell you this, I'm not going to use it as a poncho. I'm going to use it as a lightweight shelter. It's got a hood there, you see that. And the reason I'm saying that is, I'm not a poncho guy. I think a couple things happen in quote unquote survival type situations, right? I think if you're out in the woods, you're out for a hike, and this happened to Megatron and I, and guys, listen to me. I have zero problem telling you when we screw up. Zero. Zero. It doesn't benefit you. Me coming on here and acting like I know everything would be the biggest crock of shit on here. Okay. Now, by the time my YouTube career's over, I plan on being very adept at outdoorsmanship and wood skills. I really do. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to do. But you can't get there if you don't practice them, right? If you don't check your gear. So here's what I'm going to do. Hope y'all are having a good day. Listen, next weekend, I'm headed to South Florida. I'll be meeting up with Walter Matthews, he is a knife designer for Condor, right? And Walter designs knives, but Walter was served in the Chilean Marines. He is going to be putting on a survival clinic. Now, I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous. Jason from Straight Edge Knives is going to be joining us there. I'm looking forward to that. And I will film some of that. I'm not going to film a lot of it. I'm going to film probably going to film an interview with Walter on some basic tips, right? I'll film that. I'll probably get some footage with Jason. Love that dude from Straight Edge Knives. Going to look forward to camping with those guys. It's going to be an entire class. And I will give you my feedback on it. I'll record some, but I don't want to record a whole lot. Walter's a really, really good guy. Really knowledgeable and a really good knife designer. Now, I might have screwed up by tying this thing up first. And if I did, I did. You know, one thing again with me, guys, I'm not here to wow you with my skills. Now, at the end, I hope, in a year or two, y'all go, damn, that's the guy you need to listen to, Scab. Nobody's going to say that now because I'd probably get you killed. But that's why I'm doing the series, man. Because I had somebody say, well, if you don't know, why are you doing it? Well, because I want to learn. I want to learn, and it's my channel. Now, again, you can use a tent, a pole that goes in the middle. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that as we go. Now, one thing with me is this, and many of you know this, I have lost a pretty good amount of weight over the past year. 2 years ago, this would have been impossible, right? If I was doing this video 2 years ago, dude, it would be nothing but kind of a, hey, they sent me this to check out, so I'm checking it out type deal. Now, I can use this. I'm going to use it. I'm going to learn some skills next weekend with Walter. Can't wait for that. Here's where this is going to kind of culminate, guys. In April, I'll be going to BLACKIETHOMAS's. I go every year. Y'all know I do. 9 times out of 10, JJ Morris and Mike Simmons are there. What I'm going to do at that gathering, at the gathering, Blackie's gathering, is I'm going to set my camp up. I'm going to have a base camp. And then I'm going to have those fellas, I'm going to find a spot to go out on my own. And one of the nights there, I'm going to camp in this thing, right? And just see how it does. I'm going to bring y'all over in a minute. Let me see if I got... why I'm doing this video. See, right there, right? That's the whole damn reason I'm doing this. So they sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 stakes. Now it's on me to make this happen, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out. Let's see here. That's kind of a sad little tent, ain't it? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pull this up and come this way. Let's try this. Let's come back. This is why you practice this shit, guys. And I'm not being funny. This is exactly why I wanted to do this. I set this up when I got it. I haven't used it since. Now, let me highly encourage you. I'm going to link JJ and Mike's video in the description, their survival challenge. Let me encourage you to go watch that. They make some valid points, and I think you should check it out. And both of them have that background. Those guys are experts. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. I need to find me one more tent stake. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to move the camera angle to here. Again, this is a learning experience. Now, hopefully it'll rain, because what I want to do is check the gear. Too many times, I really feel like people buy stuff. They mean to check it out. They do this, they do that, and then it comes out, man, I just don't want to go in the woods. Look, that's why I'm doing this in my front yard. Whole reason I'm doing this in my front yard is this right here. Had I got out in a real situation, and it's not everything's life and death, right? But why the hell be miserable? Why be miserable when I could have took these 10, 15 minutes, set this up, seen I need at least one more steak,
I'm a moron.
and everything's kosher.
There's no need to go find another tent
right
steak
back.
when you can carve one. I'm using the jackalope from Exodus Knife and Tool, Jacob Peterson design made by White River. So I'm just going to whip up a quick tent steak right here, just like this. Here comes Megatron to witness my phenomenal bushcrafty skills. So here's the thing, guys. As long as there's a stick, you can make one of these. I don't know what I was thinking. Now, I probably will find me another tent stake, just so, because if I'm in a hurry and I just, if I need to get out of the weather, if I need to get out of whatever, I don't want to be carving. But for right now, for what we're doing, I think this is the best thing we can do. Okay. So we'll take our tent stake, homemade. Carve it a little more. The one thing about making your own tent stakes is that exactly that. You can customize it, right? So here's the other side. For the sake of this video, I'm going to leave this like this. Now, ideally, I would come further back like that. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second. I would feel better if we had it set up like we have common sense. You guys give me 1 second. All right. So this is why we test gear. I've made several mistakes. First mistake is my tent stake here. See that? That would hurt you bad if you fell on it, if you stepped on it. So I'll probably take my sack. I would take my Swiss Army knife, use the saw, cut it down. That's the first mistake. Well, that is a mistake. The first mistake I made, if you'll look above me here, you see this? It would rain straight in on me, right? I've got all this and this looks good. It would rain straight in on me. What I should have done is use the rope and pulled forward. That way, if I pull this forward, I have somewhat of a vestibule, right? So there's two mistakes right off the rip. Let me say this though. I am 5'10", and I weighed this morning at 230 pounds. So if you set this up correctly, I just want to show you all something. Now I'm going to disappear for a minute, but before I do, I have a 20-liter dry bag here. I have a hardcore hammer. This was the Corporal's Corner edition. Chris Hall gifted me this, man. This thing is insane. Armament steel. I can't wait to put this to some really, really good use. And again, guys, my goal with this is for the average person to watch these videos, not to show them what to do, but to make them think. Stop, think before you go, before you make an enjoyable experience a bad one. Think about it. So I've got that. Now, what I have in here also is I've got another 100 feet of paracord. I've got a ferro rod. I've got plenty of fat wood. I went overkill there probably. I have, from Miss Allie Carroll, I have some fat wood slivers, some shavings here. I have my Fieldmaster Swiss Army knife, and I have a backup ferro rod. I have my ever important Mylar blanket. You gotta have. You're not even surviving if you don't have one. At least 5 of them on you. So this isn't everything I would carry, right? But this is why I do this. This is why I'm doing this in the front yard. People get so worked up about needing to be in the woods. I love being in the woods, dude. It's my solitude. It's my fortress. It's my place. But I don't want to go out there and set this up like this and be miserable. Why?
I see the mistakes I've made. Now I'll correct them. Now I'm not going to correct them in this video, right? We're going to do another video. Next weekend we're going to Walters. I'm going to shoot some film there. When I come back the following weekend, we're going to take this out on the trail, and both Megatron and I are going to set it up, and we're going to show you again. Now, One Wind sent me this to check out. This is ample for me. And when I go to BLACKIETHOMAS's, I'm going to use what you see here and set me up a shelter. Now, it's the beginning of April, and by the beginning of April, I will have my haversack completely loaded. I like using a dry bag in Florida, but when I'm up there, I'll probably use, and it's not worlds apart, right? But I'll probably use my haversack up there. I do plan on making a base camp, leaving base camp. I'm hoping JJ and Mike are there, along with Blackie, because I would like them to grade me. I'm going to go out. I'm going to find a secure place. I need to talk to the ranger there, because typically, I think that's turkey season. So old Scabber, while I am losing weight and don't look like a turkey, we all know how that can go and go south quickly. But I'll find me a place that's safe. I will walk off from camp, walk off from my base camp, and do an overnight in this setup. So let me show you this. Again, I'm 5'10", 230 pounds. Now, again, I realize that I'm not set up correctly, and I could kick myself, and you guys can put in the comments. If you guys see other mistakes I made, put them in, man. This is a learning thing. This sheet is huge, and it might even be too big. What I might do is, because I got like 5 of these, what I might do is cut these down, cut them in half, use half. Now, is this a good ground sheet? No, I feel the cold coming through. But if I doubled this up with a sleeping mat, something like that, I should be okay. But again, this needs to come forward. Oh, and let me say this too. Probably what I would more than likely do, and what you will see when Megatron and I do it, is I will cut a pole, lean it forward. The reason I'm not cutting a pole for this adventure, for this video, for me to be able to get in and get out just a little more efficiently. I think that would be mistake number 3. While I personally like tying things up because of size and stuff like that, the more I look at it, what I would probably do, get this set up. I'll get this set up. I'll move these in. And I would probably make sure we tuck this in. Again, guys, this is why you practice this crap. Not crap, y'all know what I'm saying. Some of you do. So, like that. But see here again, this needs to come forward. If this comes forward, I am fully confident. Hell, I could even probably just pull the thing down. You know what? Nah, I'm not going to extend the video. I see what I did wrong. What I am going to do is maybe make a short and show you this with a pole. But this is kind of the setup, guys. I like One Wind stuff. Some people do, some people don't. It's all what you're comfortable with. I will say this. I like this setup. Like laying in here looking up. This is pretty cozy. And remember, this isn't for like a week-long camp. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about you've got lost, you're off trail, you just need to rest, man. You need to get your thoughts together. You need to conserve your energy. So you take a 10, 15, 20 minutes, pop up a quick setup like this, catch a 30, 40-minute nap, or hell, you're there overnight. What I would do because of this plastic stuff, now let me address this. Here's where cutting this in half would help too. If it's cold, say it's chilly, say it's just really chilly, I would cut this in half, put me a fire probably about where that's at. I don't want to make my fire where it melts anything. And again, I would have to bring all this in and the reason I would bring it in is I don't want moisture on it and it rolling in, right? But I think this is a pretty good setup. I think so. I'll play with it. That's the point of doing it. I do like it. And I've got a One Wind hammock. I need to get the pieces that go with it because I love hammock camping. But this is why you test your gear, guys. You test your gear when you screw it up. So I'm going back to the drawing board. I love y'all. If anything, son, learn from my mistakes. Now listen, guys, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. And if we stop and if we think about that, it is absolutely asinine that in this country that happens. And the truth is, guys, people always say, well, that's the younger soldiers. No, it's not. If it is 22, and that's not the number, specific number, that's one they use. But say it is 22, stats have showed that 17 of those 22 folks are over 50 years of age, right? So it's not just kids. So guys, what I want you to know, if you're vets, we love you. You have a place here. I'll show you the mobility of old Scab there. You're welcome here. You have a place here. Guys, I back the blue. It's not popular. That's okay. I have my reasons for doing so. I don't ask you to do so. Just something I believe in. I don't shove it down your throat. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, never quit quitting. All right. So hopefully we've learned about testing our gear. I'm going to play with it a little bit. Y'all keep an eye out for some shorts to follow up with this. Any tips, tricks, anything like that, man, put them in the comments. I'm Scab. You're not. And I'm gone. So love y'all. All right, guys, real quick. This is just one more bonus configuration. I see some mistakes again that I've made. However, I feel a little more confident in this one. Again, I'm going to cut these ground sheets, I think, in half. I can double them up or just fold them in half. I can double them up for extra protection. But I think I'm all right with this. All right, we keep on trying. I'm Scab. You're not. And I'm gone, son. Megan, are you outside? Hello? How y'all doing? Goodbye.